Oh, hi. I guess I should get off Twitter and do the forecast. Hi, everybody. It's me. I'm back. My voice is like 99.9% better. So here we are. It's the full moon in Leo. So I kind of went a little extra with the eye makeup today. You know how you just, after being sick and like feeling just terrible and gross and disgusting all week, you just like, I don't know, when you finally put makeup on again, you got to go overboard a little bit. Well, that's what I'm doing. It is appropriate since that's the Leo full moon tonight. Actually, just happened this afternoon. I think. I'm just gonna get my chart real quick. But uh, yeah, so today's the Leo full moon. Leos are the natural artists of the zodiac, so that includes putting art on your face and dressing up and feeling good about yourself. So I recommend a lot of that tonight if you are going to be doing something fun. So if you are here, yeah, last night, technically, you could. The moon was 99% full last night. So if you saw the moon last night, it was pretty gorgeous and amazing. And especially here in Albuquerque, we saw some really cool images that people were posting of the moon over the Sandias. And tonight, I'm expecting it to be just as beautiful. So I hope if you take pictures of the full moon tonight, definitely share them in the group if you want. It's going to be nice and cold, and it's the middle of winter. I think I don't follow all of the names of the moons as far as like the blood moon or the wolf moon or whatever moon it is, but I think it's like the cold moon or like the wolf moon or something tonight for the lunation. So it's going to be pretty dramatic because of Leo sort of being in charge of drama. And I know that a lot of Leos are like, I'm not dramatic. I'm not like, super like I need to be the center of attention. And it's not that really. It's, drama in the sense of theater or drama in the sense of presenting yourself in some aspect, like a creative aspect, to the world, and having the full moon emphasize being visible in the world and um, sort of like putting a spotlight on yourself. That's very appropriate that it is also the Leo full moon because Leo and the full moon have kind of similar vibes or similar energies, right? Because Leos want to share. Like that's one thing about them is like they're not necessarily selfish, like egocentric people. They actually just want to share like what's in their heart with people. They want to just be there and be open and be accepting and be fun loving. I mean, that's just kind of a representation of Leo in astrology. In astrology, Leo is ruled by the sun. So when we have a full moon, it really is a direct reflection of the sun because it's the brightest of the moons out there. It's the culmination of the brightest moon phase that we have every 28, 29 days. So the moon really in Leo sort of shows the brightest possible face of whatever's happening in your life. So tonight it could be something very juicy. I was looking at this chart for the full moon tonight, and I was noticing there's some interesting stuff going on. Not necessarily between the moon and the sun, but there is stuff going on between the moon and the sun too. But there is some other things going on with other planets. So, namely, Mars and Venus are in a square aspect right now. We have Venus and Pisces, which is like the exaltation of Venus. So she really feels like goddess like in Pisces, sort of like flowy and romantic and sort of over dolled up like I am right now. And in a square aspect to Mars. So if you think about Mars and you think about Venus, they're the archetypal polarities or dualities or the binary expressions like of opposites, right? We have the feminine, the masculine, the passive, the aggressive, the receptive, the action oriented. So those two ends of the spectrum. And you can think about the archetypal representations of Venus and Mars, man and woman, the lovers, the dynamics of back and forth and relationships, and that sort of energy is very, very, very present with this full moon because both Mars and Venus are in a square aspect to each other, which means that they're kind of in a challenging or a confrontational sort of relationship right now. So this full moon, and of course, this could have happened last night or the night, night before or night after the full moon, because the energy of the full moon is present before 2 days or 2.5 days before and after. But it's kind of like a sexy full moon, right, with that Mars and Venus energy happening. So it could be pretty juicy, pretty, I don't know, like hot blooded kind of. So if you're in that type of situation right now, that may be coming up for you, or the opportunity to do that may be coming up for you. And this, of course, doesn't have to be an actual relationship. It could be something that you're passionate about. It could be you're passionate about your art, or passionate about something that you're creating in the world, because of Leo being associated with creativity and art and presentation or expression, self-expression. So, yay, do I have to leave the house? In this day and age, no, you don't really have to leave the house, right? You can do anything online nowadays, even have, video chat, or even have some sort of like passionate exchange through the internet. You can definitely do that. Um, with this, with the Leo, with the Leo full moon, we have the opposite, the sun in the opposite sign, right? We have the moon in Leo, we have the sun in Aquarius. And so Aquarius rules technology and um, sort of forward thinking. And so, yeah, there may be less of a like embodied expression of this like sort of sexy energy right now, and much more of like an intellectual version of it, or a artistic version of it, or something creative that you want to like explore online, or an idea or a thought process or belief system, or um just watching your favorite like raunchy movie, whatever you want to do. um so the thing about this full moon though is there's going to be T square aspect, because I guess I should explain what a T square is. In astrology, you have two planets that are 180 degrees away from each other. Um, and that's always the aspect during the full moon, because we have one planet and we have the moon in the sign across from the other, um, across from the sun. So the sun right now is in Aquarius, which is 180 degrees from Leo in the 360 degree zodiac. So that's the first aspect that's playing, that's in play right now. But we also have something that's sort of creating an extra level of um, dynamic, like a dynamic aspect to this 180 degrees, which is that the planet Uranus, yes, remember Uranus is still there, and it's been hanging out in Taurus for the past few years. Well, it's just so happened to move into the position where it's less than 1 degree away from the full moon, as far as in alignment to it. So Uranus, Uranus is involved in this full moon, which is like kind of why I felt like it was kind of a juicy full moon, or like a wild aspect, because Uranus is the planet of unpredictability, sort of like lightning strikes or big things that are unexpected happening that you can't predict, that you can't um, sort of. It's not boring, right? It's exciting. So that's why I was like, oh, okay, this full moon is gonna be super exciting. Something big is gonna happen. And of course, how this manifests can have like one positive side of the spectrum, one negative side of the spectrum. So if you are, hopefully, this is sorry, manifest for you in a positive way. So hopefully, positive, unexpected positive things will be happening, or good things, or juicy things, or passionate things. Uh, you know, and this could be something. I don't want to freak people out, of course. Like it could be something totally harmless. It could be like a crazy dream that you have tonight, right? It could be something like, wow, I really got like a ping from my guides, or like spirit, or I got some sort of big aha moment, or like, wow, something really came through that was important to me. And hopefully it's supporting your creativity because of the Leo full moon. And with the Aquarius aspect, with the sun in Aquarius going on right now, we're in Aquarius season right now. So the Aquarian aspect is also associated with Uranus. If you think about modern astrology, traditional astrology associates or has Saturn as the ruler of Aquarius. So that's present as well. But Saturn is kind of a Saturn is about 10 degrees away from this the sun right now. So like a blue tarp dissipating. Yeah, like the blue tarp falls down finally. It comes flying off. Um so so Uranus and Leo, or sorry, Uranus and Aquarius are kind of associated. So the fact that Uranus is in alignment is in a T square 90 degrees away from the sun and the moon, and creating this sort of like, I don't know, an upsetting or like a an unexpected dynamic or an unexpected event to this full moon, um, which is also associated with Uranus is associated with Aquarius, which is part of this in this dynamic. It's gonna bring an extra level of Aquarian energy to it. So well, the moon in Leo is super strong. It's shining that light, but the light of Aquarius at the same time. So that dynamic of like genius and forward thinking and dynamic. I keep trying to come back to this word if it's a word or not. Dynamicism. Dynamic energy. That's kind of what this is happening, what is going on tonight. And hopefully it's something creative and fun, because Leo is all about the fun, all about like sharing the good feelings and vibes and sharing from the heart and being authentic. So no fakeness happening. So anything coming through is very truthful, very much from the heart. Even if you don't like it, even if it's unexpected, even if it's something that you're like, I didn't want to know that, or wow, okay, thanks for sharing your truth, even if that was really shocking to me. So, Leo is just always about sharing its truth and sharing what's authentic to it. It's not about, people think like, oh, they're just full of crap and full of like gaudy jewelry and whatever. No, they actually really feel that way. That's who they are. It's not like they're faking it. And so, believe what you see, even though it might be a little unexpected or a little shocking. So, in the background, we've got that going on, with Mars and Venus, and then we have some little, let's see, um, yeah, Mercury. Oh, I'm going to talk about this a little bit because it's going to come into perfection tomorrow on Monday. But Mercury is coming into an alignment with Neptune. So that means that Mercury is the planet of communication. It's the planet of like commerce and exchange of money and back and forth and like tallying up things and, the winged messenger. So bringing news or something to you. So with Neptune involved, that can be a positive expression, which I think is a direct connection to mysticism or spirituality or dreams. So it's a great this might be a really big dream night for people, like having crazy dreams or dreams that are premonitions or dreams that are um, really just vivid, right? And we have Mercury at the very last degrees are coming into the last degrees of Capricorn, so that is a grounded energy. So Mercury is not like this flighty little um, air sign, in an air sign right now, or a fire sign. It's in a grounded earth sign. So that means that it's able to really use that connection to mysticism or spirituality and bring it into the world in a tangible way. So if you're trying to, ground yourself, meditate, whatever spiritual path you follow, tonight and tomorrow are great nights to really sort of tap into that and hopefully find some real positive or real tangible nuggets of wisdom or whatever. I'm not an expert in psychic stuff, so if you want to learn more about how to connect with your guides, then talk to Michelle or talk to someone at Resident Essentials, and they'll help you figure that out. There's some great classes coming up, so check out the schedule. Yeah, so that's kind of a big thing happening in the background of this full moon as well. So it's kind of like exciting. There's lots of possibilities coming up for people to connect with others in like a passionate way, and also to connect with your guides, connect with your spiritual side, and like get real tangible messages, right, with Mercury supporting that Neptune. We also have, what do we have? We have a Mars sextile, Mars sextile Jupiter. So that's another level of like just do it energy. That's like a big oomph of like powerful moving ahead energy, powerful taking inspired action energy. So this could be a very active full moon on multiple different levels, whether it's for your creative side or you wanting to bring things into your life that are good or taking action that feels inspired. um, Mars supporting Jupiter or Jupiter supporting Mars can be some sort of a positive aspect instead of a negative action. It can be a positive action. However, if you look at the other side of it, Jupiter expands everything it touches, and Mars is the planet of aggression and anger, but also motivation and action. So that might just be like an oomph, like an expansion or a big push towards wanting to do something or wanting to take action. Or yes, maybe saying something angry because we have that Mercury going on too. So there's lots of interesting. Well, it's astrology. It's not just like there's one thing up in the sky. There's multiple things happening all the time. So we have to take that into consideration and try to like layer it and peel back the onion, all the layers, and figure out how to synthesize it. So if you're in the Orbit membership and you're watching this, the replay after this live I'm doing on YouTube, yeah, really, you should look at your full moon workbook and start writing down keywords, writing down how you're feeling during this lunation. I will be sending some journaling questions next week, so check the Orbit membership area for that. But yeah, this is a great time to reflect, to think about how you approach anger, how you approach decision making, what does motivation feel like to you? Does it feel like exciting? Does it feel like powerful? Do you feel empowered when you're motivated? Do you feel like stressed? What are all those things that are going on when you feel that supporting those planetary energies of Mars, and then layered on with some Jupiter in there. So yeah, it's a great time. I mean, the full moon is a great time to sit and journal about what you're feeling, because that will give you words to what the astrology is bringing into your life. Because the full moon is when everything's illuminated, right? Things are coming into the brightness. Things are coming out onto the main stage where everybody can see. All the seeds that you planted during that new moon phase are coming up, right? They're popping up out of the ground. They've come into bloom. The flower is out there. The fruit has grown. Now, after the full moon is the harvest time. Um, so yeah, like look at your life. That's what the full moon is for. Is like, wow, time to sit there and realize what I've accomplished, what's grown into reality in the past 2 weeks. And of course, if you want to look at a bigger cycle, then you're going to be looking at the past 9 months, the past 18 months, and then as what part of this full moon phase is. So if you're interested in looking that a little bit deeper and looking about what bigger story is coming into fruition this night, with the Leo full moon, then that is what I do in the Orbit membership with your workbooks. You can look at back into the past and what's happening. I give you all the dates about where you need to go back and see what stories were happening at those dates. So yeah. But of course, every 28 days we get to have this repeated, and every month when I talk about the full moon or the new moon, then we'll look at the energy and then what planetary significations are coming into play for each lunation. So, let me just go through. That's the full moon, right? That's a lot of stuff happening, but we also need to look at what's coming on this week. And after the full moon passes, what do we? What's the? I don't want to say fallout, but what is the after effect? What do we take away from that full moon so we can start putting it to good use, or putting it to constructive pathways after that? Because, like I said, after the full moon, it's the harvest time. We need to take stock in what we've accomplished and where we're going to go next. So let me just look at my notes. Okay. So I talked a lot about Mercury, but Mercury is really active this week. So I think it's one of the key planets that we need to look at. So things may be really active in your mind this week. Things may be really active in your communication. People doing presentations and talks. I know, Michelle, you're going to be doing a talk this week. You're going to be doing your class starting this week. So it's a really great time to learn something new. It's a great time to share ideas with people. It's a great time to express your genius, right? That's a great that's what's going on this week, because not only is Mercury very active, Venus is active as well, but both of those two planets in astrology are considered to be the personal planets. So those are very much like about our daily workings. How do we feel? What did we say? What are we thinking? um, what did we eat for breakfast? Like all of those daily things that happen to us are Mercury and Sun and Moon and Venus. How do we feel? How do we want to relate to somebody? Like that's just all the daily everything of being a human. However, Mercury and Venus are also coming into alignment with the transpersonal planets this week. So all of the outer planets, so Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, those are the planets of the bigger picture. If you think of it metaphysically, like the transcendent planets, the planets of like spiritual development, the planets of psychological uh psychological expression or psychological um understanding of yourself, and then of course the cultural aspect, like where are we going as a society, as a global um, group of people. What is like the universal mind thinking versus just your own personal ideas. So when the personal planets come into contact with the transpersonal planets, that's kind of an opportunity to really have a connection to the bigger picture. So it's a great week to take a class, a metaphysical class. It's a great week to read a book about metaphysics. It's a great week to meditate, to try to get some sort of connection to what's happening. I wrote opportunity to grow insight, to learn, evolve, and deepen your understanding. So definitely check out Resonant Essentials website. I think Michelle's still registering people for her class. And there's a lot of sextiles happening this week, which is great because sextile is a positive alignment between two planets. Um, the trine aspect is like the higher expression of that sextile, or like a stronger version of a sextile. The sextile is really much more of a opportunity. So seize the opportunity this week. I mean, the thing about a sextile is you can let it pass by and nothing can happen, or it can be very, very mild. You may be like feeling kind of good, or kind of, in retrospect, think back on this week, like, oh, man, something I didn't really realize that I could have done something this week. I didn't really realize that was an opportunity for me because it wasn't as obvious as like a trine aspect, which is like, wow, that was like I didn't even have to do anything and it was easy. But for a sextile, you actually have to take the action to seize that opportunity. So there are a bunch of sextiles this week. Let's see. We have Monday is the sextile between Uranus, or sorry, the sextile between Mercury and Neptune, which is kind of that like psychic ability, that connection to spirit. What messages are you going to be downloading? What messages are you going to be learning from spirit? Or it's a great day for meditation as well. Um, Tuesday is Venus's sextile to Uranus, which is that's kind of an exciting thing, an opportunity for you to think about what, like, what what is your relationship genius? What is your emotional genius? How um, do you express beauty in an incredibly new, innovative way? So that can be a really good feeling day where you have like an aha moment about how good you feel about yourself. Like, wow, maybe I should stop like beating myself up about how I look, or maybe I should stop wah wah wah. I wish I could lose 20 pounds or whatever, and really seize that opportunity to embrace your own individuality and your own beauty. So that's a great thing you can think about on Tuesday the 7th. It can also be a different expression, something less like dramatic. I'm going for drama today, apparently. So, you can have sort of like a good feeling. But of course, remember, to seize the opportunity. It could just pass you by. So don't let it go to waste if that's something you're wanting to change. Um, we have, let's see. Okay, so the third outer inner planet conjunction, or this isn't the sextile, this is an actual conjunction, which means they're both on the same degree of the zodiac, is on Friday the 10th. So that would be Mercury coming into a conjunction with Pluto. Pluto is still hanging out at the end of Capricorn. It's at 28 degrees now, though. So stay tuned for Pluto's ingress into Aquarius later this year. But right now Mercury is coming up to talk about Pluto. So it's really interesting that Mercury comes into a sextile with Neptune at the beginning of the week. So that's really like the moment where you can seize that chance to talk to spirit. Um, or get some sort of mystical experience, and make sure you like write it down, make sure you put it into something tangible, because it's an earth, Mercury, that wants something, physically uh visible, right? Something that you can have, like write in a journal or talk to somebody about it, right? So bring it into the world in some aspect. But then you have the follow up after you have this aha moment, or you have this experience on Friday with Pluto, right? Pluto is the psychological planet. So we talked about like the transpersonal planets being mystical or spiritual or psychological. Pluto is definitely the psychological, right? Like the psychological death of the ego, right? The psychological rebirth, or the psychological sort of experience of, not a physical death, but right, an ego death, or an idea death, or a way of doing something that doesn't work for you anymore. So having the aha moment with spiritual feel good, like wow, what was that, and now you get to like deconstruct it psychologically on Friday the 10th. So much more like opportunity to really deep dive, or uncover or unearth the true meaning of what happens on Monday with Mercury. And yeah, continue to write that down. Like write down your follow-ups with your experience this week, because Mercury is leaving Capricorn, right? So Saturday the 11th, Mercury goes into Aquarius. That then it's just going to get really excited about the future and start thinking about all these new ideas that it wants to do, versus like wanting to write things down and like put it in concrete. So yeah, so just utilize that Mercury this week before it goes into Aquarius, and things get a little more like idea and conceptual and abstract, So if you want things to be tangible and like really get something out of the stuff you're learning this week, go to a class, write in your journal, read a book, do something that's like physically bringing it into the world. Don't just sit and ponder. You can do plenty of that as Mercury goes into Aquarius. So all right, I'm at 27 minutes. So I think that's about it. Let me just double check. I can do the moons. We have the Leo full moon tonight. And of course, tomorrow we have it going into the next sign, which is Virgo. Um, so we'll have the moon in Virgo on Monday. We'll be in Virgo all the way until Thursday. So it's a long transit of Virgo, the Virgo moon. It's going to be avoid a course. For 2.5 hours on Wednesday the 8th. So during a void of course moon, you don't want to be like starting new projects. You just want to like rest, meditate, relax, read a book, take a bath, that type of stuff. So Wednesday the 8th, do some of those chill activities, self-care activities, because there's also some Chiron stuff going on Wednesday. We're not going to talk about, but I would say Wednesday is a good day to just like decompress and relax. Thursday is the moon in Libra. So from Thursday all the way until Saturday, the moon will be in Libra, and then the moon's moving into Scorpio at about 11:34 a.m. on Saturday the 11th. So those are the moons for the week. Those are the Mercuries for the week. All of the other planets. It's really good to be back. I've missed doing the forecast, and I am looking forward to next week. Of course, if you're in Albuquerque, please check out the Resonant Essentials website and sign up for some classes. If you are a part of the Orbit membership, very excited to get this back, get this going after being sick, and of course having internet issues all last week. So very good to see you all. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will be back next Sunday for the forecast. So enjoy this full moon, and please stay safe. If you have any exciting news stories or any exciting stories you want to share, please put it in the Resonant Essentials website or group on Facebook, or if you want to put it in my personal Facebook group for my membership, you can also do it there. So good to see you all, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.